Happy Football Friday for the last time of the 2025 regular season. And before we head out to the final games of the year, playoffs are announced tomorrow for football, and there are a lot of questions of what is going on in terms of the scenarios for the playoffs. So I figured we'd make a little quick video recording to have everybody hopefully a little more aware of what to expect here for the playoffs. So let's get right into it with Class 1A. So 1A, there are 4 conferences, 16 teams will make the playoffs. So 4 in each conference, right? Well, no, not necessarily. 3 teams from each conference are guaranteed in the playoffs. The 4th place team could make it as a wild card, or a 4th place team from a conference could be left out if they give a 5th place team from a different conference a playoff spot. Likewise, you could technically take 6 teams from an individual conference if the committee determines that that's what's going to be best from the WPIAL, that is, for the WPIAL playoffs. So here's what we got. In the Big 7 conference, it's already locked in. Laurel, Southside, and Neshannock are in the playoffs. Laurel at 5-0, Southside and Neshannock at 4-1 in conference play. Yes, 4-1 Neshannock. They finally have that forfeit win over Rochester has been locked in. In the Big Black Hills, Fort Cherry, Bishop Canevin, Chartiers Houston, they've all clinched. Clairton, Leechburg, Jeanette, they've all clinched in the Eastern Conference, and in the Tri-County South, California, Jefferson, Morgan, and Bentworth have all clinched. So we know the top 12 teams. It's what the wild card situation is going to be. The biggest question is in the Black Hills Conference. Vanessa and Cornell are both 2-3, and they play each other. The winner is going to get a wild card, no question about it. The loser could be that 5th place team that steals away a bid from a different conference. So more on that in a moment, because the loser would still be 5-5 record on the year. In the Eastern Conference, Fraser currently is 5-4, probably going to finish 6-4. Expect them to be as getting a wild card. The issue after that is Riverview and Greensburg Central Catholic. If they can get an upset win, I think one of them might get the 5th place spot and possibly, again, steal one away. When you compare it, though, Riverview lost to Cornell in non-conference play. Greensburg Central Catholic lost to Riverview. So it's kind of tough how you're going to try to maybe distinguish which one of those teams get in. I do think if Fraser wins, which they are in a very winnable game in the last week of the year, I think they make it in for sure as a wild card. Now here's the kicker, is the Tri-County South, because Avella is going to be the 4th place team with a 6-4 record on the year. In overall play, 3-4 in conference play. That's, assuming things go chalk here in the last week of the year. They're taking on Bentworth, who is above them in the section with only 1 conference loss on the season. If Avella wins tonight, yes, I think they would make it in. If they lose, though, they're 6-4. Those 6 wins are against opponents that have a combined 6 wins on the year coming into Friday's games. How do you compare that with some of these other teams that are 5th place teams in their respective conferences? That I think is what's going to be the biggest question mark. And real quick, in the Big 7, forgot Shenango. They don't play until Saturday. They play at 12:30. Supposedly the brackets are being announced at 1 o'clock. We know that's not happening, or if it is, it's with the assumption that Shenango wins a game, which is also very ludicrous that they might do that yet again. So I digress. But Shenango, assuming they win, the 4th place team out of the Big 7 in that conference absolutely should be in the playoffs. So the 4 wildcard bids in my mind are Shenango, the Cornell-Monessen winner, and Fraser. Those ones are absolute. It's who gets the last one. Does Riverview or Greensburg Central Catholic get an upset and get in? Does Avella, the 4th place team out of the Tri-County South, which has always struggled, get in? Or does that Monessen-Cornell loser get in? I think it's the Monessen-Cornell loser who has the best resume overall to make it into the Class 1A playoffs. In Class 2A, so a little tougher here because there are 3 first-round byes. 13 teams make it. It's the top 3 out of each conference, and again, 4 wild cards. So in the Allegheny Conference, South Allegheny, undefeated, likely going to be your number 1 overall seed at 9-0. They're joined by Apollo Ridge and Steel Valley. They're both at 4-1. They've got the automatic bids already locked away. In the Century Conference, Seton LaSalle and Washington. The winner of that game tonight is a conference champion. The loser is still in the playoffs. Keystone Oaks has already wrapped up a playoff spot. And in the MAC, Who knows? The only thing that's guaranteed, Western Beaver has guaranteed themselves at least a share of the conference championship, and they're guaranteed that they're going to have the number 1 seed when all tiebreakers and all that take into effect. So you got Western Beaver for sure. More on the MAC in a moment. But let's go back to the Allegheny. Apollo Ridge and Steel Valley are in, and in the Century, again, Washington, Seton LaSalle, and Keystone Oaks are in. Olsh is the 4th place team out of the Allegheny. Keystone Oaks, the 3rd place out of the Century. They play each other in a non-conference game tonight. If Olsh wins, you can't keep them out. So there's the 4th place team out of the Allegheny. I don't see anybody else making it out of that conference. South Park would be the next best. If they get a win, them and Shadyside will be a 2-4 conference team and 5-5 overall. Could sneak in as a 13 seed, I guess, could South Park. I don't see that happening, though. In the 2A Century Conference, Waynesburg right now is the 4th place team at 2-3. Their final game, though, is against Stowe Rocks and winnable. I think they're probably going to get in as a wild card as well. After that, though, Charleroi, Stowe Rocks, Carleton, looks very rough after that, as those teams have 1-8 records each. So I think both the Century and Allegheny should get one for sure as a at-large bid. The question is the Midwestern Conference. So again, Western Beaver, they're the number 1 team out of the conference, no question. Elwood City Beaver Falls, the winner is automatically in. They'll finish in the top 3. They're in the playoffs no matter what. Riverside plays Mohawk. If Riverside wins, they're in the top 3. They're in the playoffs no matter what. If Mohawk wins, there are scenarios that they don't finish in the top 3. But however, even with that in mind, they'd be 4th place. They would make it as an at-large, as a wild card, without any question in my mind. So where do we go from here? So Western Beaver's in, the Elwood Mohawk winner is in, and for all intents and purposes, the Riverside Mohawk winner is in. So Elwood Beaver Falls winner, Riverside Mohawk winner, they're in. Elwood City can still finish in the top 3, even with a loss potentially. So I think they're in no matter what, and I think Riverside, even with a loss, they'd be 5-5. That's tougher for both a Riverside and a Beaver Falls loss, because Beaver Falls would be 4-6. I think Riverside would be in no matter what. Beaver Falls, it would be very difficult to say that you can for sure pencil them in. New Brighton plays Union, assuming they beat the winless Scotties. They're at 6-4 overall, but they'd be behind Beaver Falls, who's 4-6 overall, and Beaver Falls won the head-to-head and has a better conference record. So New Brighton, it's a tough stretch to get them in. I think 5 will make it out of the MAC. Western Beaver, Elwood City, Riverside, and Beaver Falls, I think are going to be in no matter what. Mohawk with a win for sure is in. If they lose, they fall behind New Brighton. New Brighton probably should be in before them. Better record and a head-to-head win in that one as well. So I do think the MAC gets the 1 extra bid. I don't see a way that you get 6 teams out of the MAC and only 3 out of one of the other 2 conferences. So there's the predictions there for what is a chaotic, crazy Midwestern Athletic Conference. And finally, the real fun one in Class 4A. 3 conferences, but only 8 teams make it. So the top 2 in each conference and just 2 wild cards. So here's the scenarios that we have. The Greater Allegheny Conference, McKeesport, they've clinched the bid. Mars at 3-1. They have 1 more game left to go. They should be in. It's not officially official. Hampton and West Mifflin play each other to be potentially the 3rd place team, with the winner being the 3rd place team. If things go chalk, it should be McKeesport and Mars are in. Hampton and West Mifflin, the winner of that one, being a potential wild card. In the Big 6 Conference, Trinity, they're 4-0 in the conference. They're in the playoffs. Thomas Jefferson plays Laurel Highlands, who hasn't won a conference game yet, so they should be in. The question then is the 3rd place team, Chartiers Valley or Bell Vernon. Bell Vernon would need to upset the Trinity Hillers, and Chartiers Valley goes and plays a game against Ringgold in a winnable game. So again, assuming we go chalk here, Chartiers Valley would be the 3rd place team and the top chance at a wild card. Now, the Parkway Conference, you got Newcastle, Montour, West Allegheny are all tied, 3-1 overall. Newcastle with a win, they have a share of the conference championship no matter what. They play against Blackhawk. Montour, West Allegheny, the winner of that game, gets the other share of the Parkway Championship because they would be 4-1 tied with Newcastle. Again, assuming Newcastle wins against Blackhawk. Aliquippa will take on Ambridge. Again, assuming that's an Aliquippa win, they'd be 3-2. So you're going to have Newcastle, again, if they win, and the Montour West A winner as the conference champions, and then the loser of that game with Aliquippa tied for 3rd place. And again, you only get 2 wild cards out of the entire classification. So here's where it's crazy. If West Allegheny wins tonight over Montour, that means that West Allegheny is the technical top seed because they beat Newcastle head-to-head. So West A is the 1, Newcastle is the 2 out of the Parkway. And then between Montour and Aliquippa, Montour beat the Quips. So Montour is the next selection ahead of Aliquippa. If Montour were to win tonight, though, Newcastle would be the 1 over Montour the 2 because of head-to-head. And then you'd have Aliquippa over West Allegheny. So West A could be as high as a 1 or as low as a 4, depending on how things play out with their game here tonight. So really, really big for West Allegheny. So how does that all play into where the brackets go? Well, McKeesport as a champion, with Trinity as a champion, and Newcastle is definitely 3 of the top 4 seeds. The Montour West Allegheny winner, I think, is the 4th seed coming out of that. Thomas Jefferson's going to be in as a 5 and 6 with Mars. The 2 wild cards is where it gets really, really tricky. So do you take all 4 out of the Parkway? That would leave out the Hampton West Mifflin winner, which the winner of that game is going to be 500 at best. I don't see either Hampton or West Mifflin making it as a wild card bid. The question is Chartiers Valley. They win tonight. They're 7 and 3. That's tough to keep a team like that out. Oh, by the way, they defeated West Allegheny earlier in the year as well. I know it was early, before West A had a full identity, especially if West Allegheny is the 4th place team out of the Parkway. There's no way I can justify saying West Allegheny is in the playoffs over that Chartiers Valley team. You could easily make a case Chartiers Valley over Aliquippa as well, a better record. And again, they beat a West Allegheny team that I guess Aliquippa also beat them as well. But that's what it'll come down to, that final number 8 seed. Yes, Aliquippa could be an 8 seed or be left out of the playoffs completely. Incredible, but that's where I think we are at the moment. Well, hopefully that cleared some things up. Hopefully you can enjoy that, and hopefully you enjoy and stay warm tonight as you're watching the games, whether you're out at the game or watching it from the warmth of your own home. Hope you enjoy it tonight. The football playoff scenarios for the WPIAL. Hope you enjoyed it on the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP.